Alrighty. Alright, so this franchises died weeks ago. Gonna hang out with you squids. The franchise did not die. They ended what they call the series. Also, I chose Team Present because Marina. The other people wearing this headband thing. It's a nice headband thing. You get all of these here from the news channel. Got some G Fuel here. Wasn't there a button I can like zoom in? Yeah, there it is. Right trigger. Nothing really here. Nothing really here. Just money. Green locker. That doesn't seem to ever change. Should I just start buying these? I'll just buy those just so it like cycles out, I guess. I don't know. I mean, that is a hard pick. Like, all three sets of girls are cute in their own right. Like, you know, the Squid Sisters, they're great. Not really much on Pearl, but like she did grow on me a little bit. Like especially in story mode. And like Pearl and Marina are very cute together. You could almost say they're very close. I think the relationship is like, I don't know, set like like I don't really know. It's hard to point out. It seems like the Octo expansion had a lot of diary stuff of them being very close. Like practically dating. It's like it wasn't subtle. It wasn't just, oh my god, these characters looked at each other for 2 seconds. Like they gotta be lesbians. No. No. It was way more it was a lot less subtle than that. But it wasn't quite like any sort of like giant confession. They like it's ambiguous enough to where they can still literally just be close friends. But it's close enough romantically to where they could actually be a couple. It's like right in that weird middle zone where you just can't like it's definitely one of those things where a relationship is like kept in the bedroom. So, which I guess kind of makes sense because like I saw one VTuber recently that was like they wanted to to marry. She was like in Japan, but it's like, oh, we can't get married, we're in Japan. It's like, wait, Japan doesn't allow same-sex marriage? It's like, what the fuck? It's literally like same-sex marriage is like literally in so many animes. It's like the thing. I thought that was I thought they would have been like the first people to allow that. It's very strange. Oh well. There's so many animes of just literally same-sex weddings. Or like just saying there's so much Yuri content out there that it just doesn't make any sense of why they wouldn't allow it legally. Like culturally it's accepted as all hell. So very strange. But here in America it's not as accepted culturally. But it's very, very, very much allowed. So it's like, what the hell's going on there? And what I mean by that is you see like two anime girls kissing, you'd be like, oh, that's literally just anime. It's like, I don't think any Japanese person in their right mind would like bat an eye at it whatsoever. Doesn't matter if they're into anime or not. Maybe some of the old folks. People are being sweaty today. I think we lost this one. I won a couple last night. Usually when I stream, Twitch will give me a thing saying, hey, you're streaming, here's your dashboard. Also, if anyone can tell that the game looks a little different, that is because I am using, I forgot what the hell it's called, but it's an upscaler for the Switch. It's like $115 or something like that. It's very expensive. That's why it looks so clean. It upscales it the 1080p to like 1440. So in some ways, this might be sort of what the Switch 2 will look like if you play games on it. Because I did hear that it's going to, like, there's been so much talk on, like, it'll have, like, DLSS built in, which is not hard to do. Like, literally just going to be an upscaler chip, like, literally like this HDMI device I'm using, just built in. And it uses micro USB in order to like power it, so it's like not using a lot of power. So like, I think that's what they're doing. I think it'll probably be like Switch 1.5, honestly. It'll just play the same shit, and it'll just pack a little bit more punch. They can't pack too much punch into it, or they won't have enough battery life. Battery life has gotten better with batteries, but there's only so much they can do. So then again, there's optimizations and hardware. Damn it, I just pressed right click the second I died. I still wish, like, the main thing that I've always wanted is to be able to use Agent 8's outfit online from Octo expansion. I thought Agent 8's outfit was hot as fuck. The female one, of course. Like, it's literally a leather miniskirt. I mean, come on. Or like a latex miniskirt. Okay, they're all up front, so let's just go over here. God damn it. Why am I dying so fast? Like, literally, the second I see them, I press right click to use my special and I explode. Probably some weird lag. Well, I mean, it's like peer-to-peer based, but they're hiding it. So on their screen I already died, but on mine I didn't yet. So it's one of those things. Lost again. I am playing during the daytime, so there's kiddos playing that are way more sweaty. Sweaty in the terms of like, it's kind of the modern gamer term, if you haven't heard it, of trying too hard, or just trying really hard. It doesn't mean lack of skill or anything, because they could actually be skilled, but like they don't need to play that hard for that game. It's kind of the thing. It's be like someone playing, like, I don't know, Uno and sweating. It's like, oh my god, like, yeah, you know, it's one of those things. Someone who's into the game a little too hard. Like, calm down, buddy. Like, we get that you're like decent at it, but like, calm down. So that's what sweaty means. It can mean good things too. Just, you know, like, especially in competition. Because that's when you want people to try really hard. Isn't ranked or competition. But you call like that entire frame of mind being sweaty. Several losses in a row. I had several wins in a row yesterday. Of course, it was like really late. So it was probably people that was like closer to my age playing. So it was like more fair. People just being more casual about it. Also, like, I just haven't been able to get away from this damn umbrella. It's just so good. Oh, that reminds me, I need to check to see if my Gola Kit King Kong 2 Pro has an update. Because, like, I updated my, like, 8-bit dough Pro Plus. That apparently had an update. And then I updated my Super Nintendo 8-bit dough adapter. Because my Pro Plus wasn't working on it anymore. So it's like I had to check to see if that had an update, and it did. Controllers needing constant updates is... Like, when I was growing up, like, controllers needing an update was like this stupidest thing anyone has ever heard, because like that was not a thing. I was like, oh my god, like we joked about it, literally joked about it, that like someday like maybe we'll have to update our controllers. It's like, lo and behold, that has become a thing. That was literally, as far as I knew, it's like we joked about that. They reduced the range on that or something. I feel like that's not as effective anymore. Are those high heels? I want high heels. I mean, if it's an amiibo, man, I'll just make me some amiibo cards. I need to do that because I need to check to see if there's new amiibo things. I mean, you don't get the figure, obviously, but you can still get the effect on it. Was it like using Tagmo or something, and just a phone that can create NFCs? Like NFC cards. We lose again. Look, we might win. No, okay. Oh, this is a bad time to play this game. All the kids are out of school, like, yeah. Fucking Halo Reach. I mean, I'm not necessarily doing terrible. I'm getting close to 1,000 like points, which is decent. That means you're doing things. Like if you're 1,000 or above, like if you're like 950 to 1,000, that means like you're kind of actively working. If you're 1,000 to 1,100, that means you were you know, actively doing a pretty good job. And if you're 1,200 or above, means you were like cracked for that session. Like you were, you know, destroying enemies, inking a lot. You're doing very good. That's how I rate that anyway. Maybe I do need to switch weapon. Because this game did get recently an update. Although I did win a couple battles last night. Maybe they nerfed my Rella. Oh, strange. I've never seen that animation before. You need to get a lot closer for that. Also, the Grand Splatfest this Thursday. Big ol' Splatoon 3. Well, at least they're... I mean, hell, with how much they're teleporting to me, I'm probably gonna get a medal for that. Push him back, push him back. God damn it. Seems like every time I try to do anything with my abilities, I explode. I don't know why. Like I set down a bomb, I explode. I do my special, I explode. I think my timing is just really bad. Damn, lost that one too. Like 4 or 5 in a row. I do like those high heels though. It's very unfortunate. Maybe it's the time of day. Could be my weapons. I'm not really sure what it is, but maybe they like buffed and nerfed a bunch of stuff I don't know about, and it's just I can't really use this anymore. I mean, it's not a bad weapon. I mean, see, it's like you can pretty much ink more than the roller. I mean, see how much you can like ink in a very short amount of time with this damn thing? Pretty much you get this entire room filled before a match starts. Oh. Like, you have to go to weird angle, though, in order to get it to where it doesn't make, faces. You can't hold it down the whole way, either. Like, a really weird trick in order to get it all clear. Mm-hmm. It does run out really fast, though. Purple and green. Interesting color choices. This thing sucks for actually splatting. This is why I tried not to actually do it very often. Like that's why you don't see me like just gunning after other players, because it sucks at it. You have to hit him so many times. Just sworn I placed down a bomb, but I guess not. Maybe I will change weapons. It's been a really long time since I changed it on here. Maybe I should go to the zapper. I did like the zapper. I've tried most of the weapons in this game at some point, but only ever fell in love with the undercover umbrella. Not even for the defense. Specifically the undercover one. Like, that's what I mostly use in Splatoon 2. The undercover umbrella. I think we lost again, goddamn. Like 5 times in a row. I'm either getting incredibly unlucky or just bad teams or just not doing something right. Because usually I'll get one within 4. I mean, I'm getting medals. I'm not doing terrible. Very strange. Let's do that, I guess. Do something weird. Since I got it from, like, this DLC anyway. Like, the 2 weapons I never really cared to use were the ones I beat the DLC with. This one's weird. This one's actually more like the undercover umbrella pretends to be a shotgun, but this is actually a shotgun. What is this? Oh. Forgot it had that ability. Not a fan of that ability. Yeah, I'm not sure about this weapon. This one's less inking, more splatty. It's like ninja, maneuverability. Like high damage up close, that's what this is all about. Seriously? I'm not sure about this one. Maybe, like, because I don't normally play Splatoon at this time of day, so maybe it's like I really am just playing against really, really sweaty motherfuckers. I can't get anything in. This is a close range weapon. And it was great for the DLC. Just because, like, how the AI worked, this weapon was, like, really good against AI. Doesn't appear to be that good. Like its players, though. At least I don't have enough practice in it. Range sucks on this thing. I know it does a lot of damage if you can hit someone with it. Yeah, I'll be switching weapons. And we lost again. Was that like 6 times in a row? Oh. Damn. You figured this game would give you a mulligan or something at some point. Be like, here's some bonus points because like you're doing like you're getting stomped. Yeah, I didn't get hardly any points there. I can try this. This one ain't bad. Try this out. I gotta aim. Weird. Gotta aim a little lower than normal. Hmm. Are we playing against a clan? Well, I can like rapid fire without losing too much heat. What is that? It's just a balloon. Yeah, I know. Oh, Steam wish list. I guess I can annoy at a distance. Forgot what that does. Does that just like lower the defense or something? think I'm just getting unlucky. I'm gonna switch weapons. I mean, I'm getting medals. I remember this one being pretty good. Kind of an all-rounder one, yeah. This is all, I remember this now. Yeah, this is sort of an all-rounder assault thing, just annoyance. I remember the undercover umbrella used to be really good, but like, maybe they nerfed it recently? Here, let me change the dead zone on my controller here. Because I'm using the Gola Kit King Kong 2 Pro. And yes, that is a real name. And that is a real controller. It's Hall Effect. And thankfully, there's a lot of controllers that are using Hall Effect now. And they're not expensive. I got, like, what is it? The Game Sir G7. For my Xbox Series X for like $40. Like $40–50 will get you a Hall Effect controller nowadays. The King Kong 2 Pro is $80, but of course this controller has like NFC built in, it's got gyro, it's wireless, USB-C, programmable. It's a pro controller. With Hall Effects. If you don't know what Hall Effect is, it uses magnets in order to measure the sensitivity. It even uses magnets to center. So, you know, I can do this and it immediately goes dead center. And I can change my dead zones on the fly. It defaults to like being the dead zone being really small, which kind of messes with some games. So I usually have to set it a little higher. But you just hold the gear icon and click whatever joystick you want the dead zone to change on. Doesn't make you a better gamer though. Hall effects, analog sticks are interesting to get used to. There's a weird lack of tension. It almost feels like the joysticks are like half going out. At least on this. Feels like the joysticks are like old and the springs are going out. But that's just how they always feel. I just think I'm getting pitted against like the sweatiest motherfuckers on the planet right now. This is usually why I play multiplayer games a lot later in the day. Or just straight up at night. Yeah, you don't have to worry about like drift on these controllers ever. So it doesn't matter how many times you spin. It always centers dead center. Because it uses magnets, not springs. Now for wireless Hall effect controllers, there is one thing to be to take note of. Is when the voltage drops, that'll make that will add drift weirdly. Normally though they're pretty smart about that, and if the battery goes too low to where the analog sticks would have weird readings, it'll just say the controller's dead. It'll just be like charge your controller. But that is the thing. But if you get wired Hall effect, then you don't ever have to worry about it. Maybe it's just these maps I don't like. I don't know, I'm jonesing. Or not jonesing, what's the word? Not joshing. Making excuses, whenever that is, I forgot. Ow. And no, I don't use motion control. Never have, never will. Or I had to in the tutorial for Splatoon 3, which was the most annoying fucking thing ever. And the whole thing, and throughout the entire time of me playing the tutorial of this game, I hated every second of it because it forced me to use motion control. I don't want to play a shooter with motion controls. I'm old, crotchety. Like, FPSs are joysticks or mouse. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. I think we've lost again. You can kind of tell momentum at this stage. And god damn. And we got wiped out. Like we're getting, I'm getting teams, and we're getting like wiped out every single time. God, this must be like 10 in a row. I don't think I've ever had a losing streak this long in this Splatoon game, like ever. Because I don't usually play at this time of day. You people are just really fucking sweaty right now. They're perspiring. There you go. Use the restroom real quick. I'm back. Yes, well, hands are washed. My bathroom is like only a couple steps away, so don't worry about that. Let's see. What's this dead zone? Oh, slow as fuck. Okay. 2. Maybe I'll change my dead zones back to 2. I need to be careful about 2 though. Some games don't handle the second dead zone very well. Cause like when you use such a precise controller like the Golokit King Kong 2 Pro, you realize of how much bullshit that Nintendo has put into their games by default to stop drift. And mini games will wig the fuck out. Especially Pokemon Legend Arceus. That one's really bad. You can turn off dead zones, which means that like the dead zone is how far you have to move a controller stick for it to register a motion. So this is me like barely. Oh no. And you can essentially turn that off with this controller. Now, pretty much any physical controller, like non-Hall effect controllers, across time have always had dead zones because the springs just go a little bad. Like they have to have it by necessity. But with Hall effect, you don't. And when you turn it off, the game doesn't know what the hell to do because it's not expecting no dead zone. So in some cases, like Pokemon Legend Arceus, it assumes you're pressing like all directions at once because it doesn't know what the hell to do. It's quite funny. And so if I turn off dead zone, the character will just wig out. Like literally, it'll like just twitch in place because it's not expecting it. The game expects like a ton of dead zone. Although I am thinking of getting the 8-bit dough SN Pro 2. I have the Pro Plus, which it's basically, if you don't know like names, it's the Super Nintendo looking controller with the 2 analog sticks and the grips. So think of a Super Nintendo controller with 2 analog sticks in the bottom and extra plastic to for rumble and controller grip. Now I have the Pro Plus, but those use regular analog sticks. The Pro 2 has Hall effect, and it's like $50. Although I'm not sure if I would use it a lot. I mean, I use the other one. It's still doing okay. But having a Hall effect controller that can also be used on PC and Super Nintendo, kind of neat. We actually went around, good God. Now. Like 53 minutes in, finally went around. I didn't even get as many points as I normally do. I always seem to get more points with the undercover Bella just because like it inks so much. Creates a lot of dead space here. And I've had this Gola kit like King Kong 2 controller for like at least like 3 years. I think 3-4 years maybe. It still centers on absolute zero. So if I like, and I've tested this on PC, if I go on PC and like I move the controller around and just like this and then let it go to 0, it's like you'll on calibrator websites you'll just see like that little dot go tink right in and you'll see like, you know, negative 0.013 or whatever. Normally with other controllers, even if they're really good, they'll always have like some tiny bit that's off, and no, it'll be like 0.0 and 0.0 for X and Y no matter what. That's why these things are great. You just have to get used to the feel. Because the best way to describe it is it feels like the springs are a little loose. But that's just how these things roll. And if you can get used to that and not be bothered by it, because like it's like reverse. It's like around the center, it feels loose. Like if I'm doing this, that feels really loose. Feels like, oh my god, the springs are out. But like the further you move the analog sticks to each side, it gets tighter. So it's literally the reverse of a normal controller. It's like inverse spring. So the further you move out to the edge, like the stronger the tension is. And that is a weird thing to get over. So like while it is technically more precise, it's harder to be precise. If you're doing like small movements because there's so little tension on it. You get away from me, whatever that is. Yeah, so like all the area around the dead zone like just feels soft. So like the point closest, yeah, the point closest to the center is really loose. But the outer edges of the analog stick is you can be more precise with. So it's a strange thing. I don't know if other Hall effects, well, my GameSir G7 is better about it. The magnets are a little stronger. But you also notice it more. Also, this Gola kit King Kong 2 Pro is like 80 bucks. But it also has like Bluetooth, Android, X input mode. Switch mode. And like several others, I think. It's worth the money. I mean, it's a premium ass controller. It's also USB-C. And it lasts forever on a charge. But this controller is like 20 or 30 hours or something on a charge. It's a lot. Yeah, it's the X input, Android, and a D input. Yeah, it's got D input. Which is like Windows like generic controller mode, basically. It's like we don't know what manufacturer or anything this is. It's just generic. There you go. X input is specifically Xbox. In case you was wondering. So like D input's like direct input and X input's like Xbox input. I don't know why I'm going on so much about controllers, but like, well, I am using a very interesting controller that I still sometimes get comments on about the review I did. Yep, even after all these years, this controller's still going good. It's like, I will no longer buy a controller that's not Hall effect. Period. Like, that's just not something I'm gonna mess with anymore. I've had so many joysticks go out on me. So many. Like, and on expensive controllers too. Like, the controller will be expensive, everything will work fine, and one joystick will go completely out on it. And the cost to fix it is like the price of the controller. So it's so annoying. Even my Xbox Series X controller that came with my console, like, the joysticks died on it. Or something died on it. I don't know what it is, but like, both joysticks only measure like in a singular X or Y. Yeah, this I don't know why I keep trying to like splat with the undercover umbrella. It never works. This thing sucks at damage against other players. Literally, mostly just to ink. Like a more versatile version of the roller. Fortunately, uses like it just you constantly have to refill. Yeah, it sucks with player damage and it sucks with ammo. How did you not get hit or die from any of that? Literally nudged him. Oh. They've either are extremely wise to that special or something. I don't know. We got wiped out again. Yeah, we're playing against some sweaty ass motherfuckers. That's fine. I think we still lost. Yeah. I tried there at the end. Hey, look at that. 1,200. Like, I had the most out of anybody, and we still lost. That's how this day has been going. I mean, just look at what this thing can do. Why I use it so much. Problem with it is, like, it pretty much loses against every weapon. I mean, look at this. It sucks in damage. I mean, I have this, and that can do a lot. And these are neat. Those are often clutch. But, other than that, it's not like a super fantastic weapon or anything. I'm just really used to it. I also have a habit of aiming too far up with this thing, because I think that aiming down just won't have it go as far, but I've tested that theory, and that's I believe wrong. I believe it goes literally a little bit farther if I aim forward instead of up a little bit. Just a bad habit with this weapon that I got. I mostly use these bombs to reclaim space that I know is going to get claimed. Like that right there. Just don't have enough time to turn around. When in doubt, run toward him. Yeah, we probably lost this one, maybe already. I hate to be like somewhat a defeatist, but although there's a lot of comebacks that happen in Splatoon. People will get like too much in their ways, and then you get like a little momentum at the end and just completely take them over. That happens too. If like they win, if sometimes if the party wins like way too early, I swear to God, like Splatoon will give the other side a mulligan in some way. Like just Mario Karts. Is that their base? Did they all just leave? What the hell happened? It's like, yeah, one of these scenarios. They just give up right at the end? See, that happens, right? You'll be losing the entire match, and right at the end, it seems like the other side just gives up. I don't know what the hell. It's very weird. Not that I'm complaining. I mean, look, I could do this. You probably can't do that with a normal controller. Like it's not meant to go that slow. Because it's based on like percentage of directional input. I don't think they accounted for like almost no dead zone. You can make the animation play really slowly. Because normally dead zone will be like around here at slowest. And if you're wondering why I don't like start and stop this thing all the time, because it has a very terrible time of doing that. Weapon's just quirky. And they all are, that's kind of the point. Maybe I should try a bucket. Buckets are weird, but they're like oddly useful. This weapon just really sucks against one-on-one. You might have won. Looks like it, I think. Yeah. Maybe I got lumped down with like people with a lower like player skill. Like we're gonna like you lost like almost 10 things in a row. We're gonna lump you down with people that are a little less sweaty. It's like thank you, game. It is very helpful. Spider-Man. Like this game sucks my spider balls. Spider-Man AVGN review will always live rent free in my head. By the way, you only get this outfit for beating the was it Last Order? Beating the DLC of Splatoon 3. And you can beat it. Like, you just basically need to get strong enough to survive the tower. And then beat the final boss at the end, which thankfully is checkpointed. The final boss is checkpointed, so don't worry. If you actually you beat like a final boss, then you got to do it again. But the second time doing it is checkpointed. So that was an immediate explosion. Oh, that mask. I forget how. I think you get that mask from Last Order as well. But you have to unlock a lot of stuff to get it. The gray mask with the eyes. Yeah, I believe that's DLC. That's like that person must like completely beat that damn DLC in order to get that. Try to get away from that. I believe that like lowers their defense or something. Like my bombs. It also marks them, which is good. I really suck at hitting people with that thing. Man, I must have shot that dude like 5 times. The weird thing is like, you notice I'm like barely getting any splats. I'm dying a lot, but I still often have a lot of points with this damn weapon. It just inks so much. It's like, it's hard to get any kills with it, but like, you get a lot of points with it. It's crazy. Yeah, that helmet on the left there. I believe that's DLC. And from memory serves, it's an absolute bitch to unlock. 860? I mean, that's still decent. Oh, good, because I was getting tired of those maps. I mean, I guess that's why they do the rotation, but... Why does it have, like... Why does it have, like, the 4 arrows next? My other weapons have that. Because it's faster, maybe? Doesn't say anything about it. Yeah, my undercover umbrella, it like has really low stats. So it's not like it's a great weapon. Try Zuka. I can try it. I don't know what the hell those 4 arrows mean. Damn. My only guess is it has like XP up on it. Not really sure. Oh, we got another one. Oh, we got it at the same time. Didn't get anyone with it, but like you just want to fire it off, even if it's like you just want to make sure you at least get some use out of it, because you don't really carry over anything. I mean, it carries over a little bit, but I think only like 25%. Oh, just a little bloom bomb. I think I should go for the trigger instead of just running into him. Running into him was like 70 and the trigger was 100 up close. hell was that? It's been a while since I used the roller. Yep, I should have did that sooner. Oh wait, that person's using a blade, I think. Yeah, rollers lose to that. Oh yeah, I forgot about. Oh, no, never mind. Hey, I got that weapon. I guess other people were able to beat it with that bow and arrow as well. For whatever reason, the bow and arrow is really good in the Last Order. Or whatever the hell that DLC is called. Like, I don't know why, but, like, it is. Like, it doesn't even seem like it would be that good because, like, it's hard to hit enemies with it and all that. But, like, for whatever reason, like, the bow and arrow is just really good to beat the DLC with. So if you're having trouble, like, choose that one. I don't know why it works, but I believe that was the first one I beat it with. It doesn't make any goddamn sense, but like it's not bad. I'm just gonna try different weapons. Just mess around. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this one's this one's trigger happy. It's basically a really fast version of Undercover Umbrella, but without protection. Facing off against that Juju person again. Interesting. Conversely, I believe the blade was an absolute pain in the ass to use in that DLC. In which you would think would be really, really good. But against a whole bunch of like AI all at once, it sucks. Making a path, making a path. What's my bomb? Regular bomb? Okay. Mm-hmm. Water level. Multi-kill. Double kill. Yeah, this weapon's kind of fun to use at the moment. What? Swear to God, I just like explode out of nowhere for no reason. Like, I don't even see the animation. I don't even know what that... Oh, that's a thick blade. We lost. Is that dude pantsless? Freshness raised. Golden license. Need freshness for the weapon? I forgot that that was a thing. I mean, that's pretty crazy. I'm just going to assume I'm playing against people that are like way more into Splatoon than I am right now at this time of day. And just that's probably played hundreds of hours instead of just multiple that I have. And that is completely fine. Okay, so that does like no goddamn damage. But I'm just throwing it on him. So a bit like the undercover umbrella, like, although this one's got this ability. So you can do a lot of damage if I charge it. I just don't have any defense. But it inks more and faster. So this is a fun weapon to use. This is a really cool special too. If I could use it. Ow. Damn it. I want to get someone with that at some point. I've never been able to get anyone with it, I don't think. I'm gonna try for it, but man. Damn it. I don't even have time to charge it up before I explode. I seriously just get someone by accident. that worked. Also, I didn't check the markets today. I know, like, last night during the presidential debate, our dollar was falling against the yen pretty badly. But then again, that's by design, because Japan has been trying to strengthen the yen. That could have just been part of that. Because the yen was getting really weak and people were, I mean, it was kind of good for them because like the dollar was like so good in Japan this past like half year that people would like literally spend the money to travel to Japan just to get stuff cheaper. I don't know how much cheaper the stuff was though. Apparently it's like a lot. Where if something was like $10 here, it was like $2 there or something. It was kind of crazy. So it's, but that also means that it takes a lot more of their money to afford shit from America. So it's like, it was helping tourism, but it was like hurting economy a little bit. So it's like, but the tourism was helping economy. So it's like this weird place that they were in. It's like they needed it to be a little low, but not that low. Like, so they're trying to creep up that value a little bit more, but that's what was happening last night during the debate. For whatever reason, our dollar was falling. I don't know why. My only guess is if Kamala looked good whatsoever at any point. The markets would be like, oh, if it looks like she's gonna win whatsoever, it's like we're just gonna be terrible. Oh, I got a triple. Because not to get too political, but basically Trump wants to give tax cuts, which is what you do to help companies, because if you help a company, guess what? If a company does well and you give them a lot of tax cuts, it'd be like their bottom line is a lot better. They fire a lot less people. So you figure that one out. And like if their bottom line's doing better, well then a whole bunch of other people's line is doing better. Doesn't mean they still won't fire people, because you still might, and like for a little bit, you know, in order to get a little bit of extra income on top of the extra income from the tax break. That doesn't stay that like that way forever, because at some point, in order to be, if all businesses are doing that, are cutting people plus reaping the extra tax benefits, and they get all this extra money, that's fine. But at some point they gotta, in order, because every company will be doing that, and if every company is doing that, then that means every company is now suddenly more competitive because they have more money in order to invest in more products. So then it flips and you'd be like, oh, with all this extra money we need to hire more people to be more competitive. But that takes time. It could take a couple years for that to flip around. So Kamala is wanting to do, if you want like a non me picking a side basically and just wanting the general gist of the overall vibe of like what they're both striving for, without me pressuring on any side whatsoever, just kind of get the general gist. Kamala is saying like we need to like change stuff here and now, not thinking about the future. Trump's saying like, okay, we change stuff here and now, but like the tax breaks and all the stuff that he's proposing is it takes time for that to settle in. It's better in the long run, but it's not like an immediate fix. All the stuff is like an immediate fix here. It's basically band-aids. It's a lot of really sugar-coated band-aids, which is, you can make the argument that's what the economy might need, maybe, but if you do that now, will that make things worse later on? Like, will you have an even greater recession? It's like one of those things. It's like, do you want the instant gratification or do you want to work for something that's more stable? That you know works. Because, like, the tax breaks and all that stuff, like, we know that works. It's like, it just takes time for it to go through the course. That's the problem with it. So if Trump gets in now, with, and does all his stuff, like, a lot of the effects won't even like fully settle in until after he's done the 4 years. Quite frankly, like whatever, like the president, if Trump gets in, then it's like it won't be till the next presidential like election to where we'll actually see his effects, and then they'll take credit for it, as they always do. So if Trump gets in, the next president will have a better platform. It doesn't matter who it is, Republican, Democrat, or like independent. It doesn't matter. The next president will like have a better time, like have a better economy to be in, but those effects won't be until then. So it's like, so after 4 years, it's like whatever president gets in there, it'll take those next 4 years for that stuff to be fully settled in and actually start working with Trump's plan. So, like, it'll be maybe 6 years with Trump's plan. Kamala's plan is more like 6 months to a year. The problem with her plans is it's going to really tighten the companies, all the big corporations. Like, they're going to get, like, really squashed. They're already running on margins, so it's like, and that may help with the inflation because there's gonna be a lot of firing if Kamala gets in. Like, there's gonna, like, you think the firing rate is bad now, with some of the like the price fixing of food and all that, and again, it's one of those immediate gratification things. Price fixing has never worked in the history of man. It's like, it always looks good on paper, though. It always does. And if you look at it, it's like, why wouldn't this work? It's like, even if you're educated and you look at it and it's like, why wouldn't this work? It's like, even if it's temporary, it never has. Because you have to think about, like, well, what about the gas that's used, the gas that's used to transport that price fixed food is changing. If that costs more, then you'll have to change the food again, and it's basically you're chasing after a bus. It's like it's just really difficult to manage, and it's like way too much to manage. It can't be done. Logistically speaking, it cannot be done. So it's one of those things that, like, it should work on paper, but it never in the history of all mankind has ever worked. Greece has tried to do it when they were falling, when they started getting high inflation. Like, didn't Zimbabwe? I imagine Zimbabwe tried it. But yeah, because like there's I mean, they kind of do that already with isn't it bananas and other tropical fruits, like out in the jungle, like cocoa beans. The cocoa beans especially. They can only sell for what they're told to sell it as. And that's it's like a looser price fixing, but it's still price fixing, and like it's so that they can have like good deals with us, you know. We get it cheap. I don't know. It don't work. It just don't work. And so that's the general gist of the two, if you're wondering. Now, Kamala's plan. Kamala's plan will basically crash the economy. Now, that will also like, her plan is basically to destroy the economy on purpose to make the dollar worth more. It's just like, I mean, that'll work. I ain't saying that ain't gonna work. That's how that works. It's like the Kabbalah's plan is like literally like full on hardcore. Like, nobody's working, no one's hiring. The companies are strapped for cash. And if a company is strapped for cash, guess what? Cash is worth more. Because no one can afford to buy anything. So it's like... and that will raise the value of our dollar. People will be hurting like fucking mad. But, that'll fix it. Be a lot of homeless motherfuckers, but it's like, and food will probably be like $7. No, it's like $4.35 for a gallon of milk here. A pound of beef is $7 where I'm at, where just a couple years ago it was like $3. Okay, so with if Kamala goes in by the end of her presidency, I would not be shocked for a pound of beef to be 14. Like, well, but you just said it would crash. Yeah, it wouldn't be full in effect until after she left. That stuff takes time, even with the quick method. So it would probably go all the way up to 14 before it started going back down again. And it would probably shoot down to like $2 or $1 because like no one would have any fucking money and you couldn't sell anything for any price in order to make money. Then we get into this weird situation with all these really high wages. If that happens, if Kamala does all her stuff and that happens, then all these people being paid like these $15 an hour jobs, every single one will get fired. Like, there'll be a mass firing. because everyone will have to fire everyone and then rehire at lower prices, lower wages. And so it'll be like a big reset. Yeah. So if someone was making like $20 an hour, well, congratulations, you'll be making $8 now. It's like you either accept like the new payment, or we'll hire some kid to do it. At the same time, you know, food will be a lot less expensive. But I don't know how different, or like when those two are separate things. So I don't, like, food may be like $14 per hamburger, but like you're only making like $8 an hour because no one can afford anything and they have to sell it for that. So it's like that would happen for a little while, until companies have to start dropping it, and it may be like $14 pound hamburger on sale, 75% off, right? So that's where her plans are going. Not that it wouldn't work. It's just a much more painful way of going about it. It's basically, Kamala's plan is faster and more painful. Way more painful. Like, obscenely more painful. And Trump's is like way slower. But it will get the job done. So those are the two kind of things you're picking this coming election. Specifically just about economy. You want the fast and, like, you know, people like in closets screaming due to working like 20-hour days, or you want the slower, like, oh, the price is like 50 cents off than what it was last month plan. Like over the course of several years, which would be Trump's sort of way of going about it. Or do you want like like everything is so expensive and everyone's firing everyone, like chaos, which is what is gonna happen. Again, not that it wouldn't be effective. I'm saying it would actually lower inflation. Like, both of their plans would lower inflation. They just have a different way of going about it. One is faster and more painful. But both would do the job. So it's like, I'm trying to be unbiased here. Both would do the job. It's just like, the faster one is like more painful and like more temporary, by the way. Because Kamala's way of doing it, like, will only do it for so long, and then you'll go back into high inflation. If you don't raise rates again, because that's what they'll have to do. They'll have to raise rates again. As soon as they apparently they're gonna start cutting. Maybe this month we may get a full basis point. We may get a full basis point by the year end, which just 100 basis points is 1%. I don't know why they use that term, but may go from like 6%, whatever it is, to 5%, which ain't much. There you go. I don't think we'll see the 2% until 2027. Yeah. And just speaking like Fed rate wise, both Trump's and Kamala's plan will take like from the Fed's point of view, will take about the same amount of time to lower the rates to 2%. So those, I can't really think of a reason why either would be too different. Like the Fed's way of doing things is like way different than what president's plans and policies really account for. So their rate of lowering it will be about the same between the two. Doesn't matter which one gets in there. I think it's still going to be probably until 2027 before we start seeing the Fed rate back down to 2%. Doesn't matter what policies are in there. It's just the method that they, like, the rate at which they do it and what time of year is just going to be different. Like with Trump plans, I think the Fed would probably do 50 basis points every now and then. A lot, like, over time, like more of smaller amounts. And with Kamala's, it'll be like really large amounts. Like 1% at a time. Instead of like 0.5 or 0.25. Like, instead of like 0.25 every month. Kamala's stuff would be like 1% like every month. It's like, because stuff would be crashing a lot faster. And they'll have to account for that. And there's like a 6-month lag already, and they may even do more than that. And then there will be a recession, and that'll have to get accounted for. And just a lot more needless pain with her policies. I don't think she's all that bright, to be honest. Like, if we're just strictly talking about economy, it's like, I mean, I don't like Trump's personality whatsoever. This guy's a fucking asshole. But like, pretty much all CEOs are. They're all like egotistical maniacs. And he's like a lot of one. But they kind of have to be in order to have their job. Like, if you see like a nice CEO, that company's probably gonna fail. It's like straight up. Because like, they're either having a mask, or if they're like genuinely nice, that company's dead. Like, you have to fire people. You have to be an asshole. You have to manage. If you don't manage and let it go on its own, well, then why are you there? You know what I mean? Like, why do you need to be in the position you're at? If you're not managing it. Managing is a very tough job. That's why they get paid so much money. Like, you have to let people go. You have to fire people. You have to manage. You have to talk. You have to make deals. It's a pain in the ass, and it's stressful, and it's like you got to be egotistical, and you got to like want it. It's like there's a lot of reasons of why they get paid money. It's like, I think it's still too much, but they pay them because, like, at the end of the day, this is, do investors and companies make money? It's like, if the answer is yes, well then I guess the money was worth it. It's like, and so that's the state of things. And I think the reason why, like, the markets were crashing was because, like, it's kind of weird. Like, the more it seems like Kamala might win, like, the more the markets are gonna crash. That's just not me being political. That was happening last night. It's a literal thing. It's because like all the policies she says are going to hurt companies, and that's what they want to do. It's like they want to hurt, like they want to be like, you know, they want to pull a Robin Hood, and I get it, man. I'm poor as fuck. I get it. Like, I barely make $1,100 a month, right? And like I can barely afford food. I understand. I do. But if you take 2 seconds to look at like what that means, like if I work at a restaurant, and if my boss, like it's like a family-owned restaurant, if my boss had to pay me $20 an hour, like I see all their bills. Like I put up the truck, like I see a lot of their bills, like straight up. If like it doesn't take a genius to see, it's like they couldn't afford me. It's like if they did that, or they would have to hike their price. Like it would hurt everyone if I was paid more, or if they had to pay more in taxes. They had to pay more in taxes what they already do. It's like margins are so thin. It's like I get the Robin Hood idea. I really do. It's like you're not wrong for wanting to tax companies and like rich people. But it doesn't work financially. It's just the sad truth of it. Like helping out a corporation, as much as it doesn't seem like, why the fuck would you want to do that? They have a lot of extra money already. You know, CEOs being paid millions and millions. It doesn't make any sense of why giving them more money or letting them keep more money and the government getting less, of why that would help people. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I understand. I completely understand. It shouldn't make sense. I completely 100% agree. But the world is much bigger than you think it might be. And the way markets flow, investors and all that other stuff, it just so happens that if you give companies a break, even though it feels like they don't deserve it, and like, you know, giving money back to the poor people, it's like, who pays the poor people? Corporations. If they have less money, are they going to pay poor people more? No. It's like, right? So if you think about it, it's like, if a company has less money, are they going to pay poor people more? It's like, no. It's like, what if you force them? Well, they'll just fire more. So it's like, they'll figure out a way to not pay you. Guaranteed. And McDonald's like absolutely couldn't survive by paying all their employees. They'll figure out a way to have no employees. Like hell, they'll maybe pay Uber drivers to make the meal in the vehicles with like equipment that they buy. Not joking. It's like they'll figure out a way, and that won't help people whatsoever. I know I'm harping on this too much, but like, and trust me, Trump's an asshole. Like, my dad would have probably socked him for some of the shit he said. Like if he said it in front of him. My dad's not alive at the moment. It's like he passed away a couple years ago. But like I know a lot of people in my family that would have like, that even voted for him, that would have socked him for the shit that he said. It's like if he cleaned up his like act, like I wouldn't have any problem with him. policy wise. That's just how it is. That's why a lot of people voted for him. It's like I couldn't understand in the beginning why people did. It's like this guy like fucking like sucks on a personal level. It's like quite a lot. But over the years, it's like as soon as Biden is, I was like, oh, I understand now. It's like, keep in mind, I think I voted for Biden too, so it's like I'm greatly sorry about that. I've never regretted anything more, because it seemed like he might have had a head on his shoulders. I was very much deceived by that. I was like, I mean, I was unsure a little bit at the time, but it's like this guy's gotta like, he's been in the government for like 50 years. This guy's gotta at least know fucking something. It's like, no. He's a yes man. He's knowledgeable, but he was a fucking yes man, and he couldn't say no to anything. He basically just got stepped on his entire presidency. And that hurts. Like, you need to be able to say fucking no, or fire people. Hire people. It's like, you need to have a little bit of asshole in you. I know a lot of people don't like Obama either, but like, at least he fucking, like, he got his shit done. Like, even if his shit was not like to everyone's liking, he at least got what he wanted to do done. And on some level, outside of politics, there has to be at least some respect for that. You know what I mean? Even if it's like shitty policies that like eventually hurt people, it's like, at least he like got it done. Honestly, I think the biggest benefit was like to Obamacare wasn't Obamacare, because that really did raise prices. That's not the way to do it. One of the things that it did that you don't hear people talk about is it forced our entire like medical industry in order to upgrade their computers. Because Obamacare forced a lot of companies in order to upgrade their systems a little bit and like get that stuff online instead of, you know, from fax machines. Side benefit, not a like for the cost, wasn't entirely worth it, but it still forced a lot of companies to upgrade, and that's still some benefit. If you want to see a silver lining in anything, even if you fucking hate Obamacare, and it's not like the best thing ever either. It's like it has a lot of problems, but it forced companies to upgrade their infrastructure, and we greatly needed that. Like, it should have been done in another way, separate. Like just force, like some big plan to just force that upgrade separate from anything. But then you would need like upgrade how to what for why. But that was sort of wrapped up in that. And that helped. That helped a lot of things, because it helps keep track of things better. And in the world of cybersecurity, it's like that helped a little bit. And also, I think I'm winning more now. So there's that. You know, small victories, I guess. Our entire infrastructure needs some updating. It's like planes still use like well, I guess a lot of our infrastructure is upgraded, but it's not done very well. Like when the antivirus company pushed out a null patch, basically, like a bunch of zeros, and it just crashed all those operating systems. Well, Windows. It crashed Windows PCs. That, like, it brought down planes. Well, not brought them down. Let me it grounded planes is what I mean. Didn't bring them down. It's still a lot of onboard systems. I mean, like, it grounded a lot of air travel. That's another problem we got that I haven't heard either side really talk about of fixing that. We have too many systems that are tied to one thing. Like, for instance, outside of politics, every time Cloudflare goes down, every time Cloudflare goes down, you'll have, like, you know, Xbox Live, PSN, like Switch, like random ass websites, maybe even YouTube. Like, you'll just have all these services that just die because they're all using Cloudflare. That shit needs to stop somehow. Like, all these monopolies, and with the way the economy is, they kind of had to do that because all these companies are scooping themselves up, and antitrust laws are, they're trying, but like, they're trying to get them. Like, the antitrust people are been doing a bang up job lately of denying a lot of mergers. Like, there's been a lot of mergers denied, being like, no, for that exact reason, because they see it. And so they're like, the antitrust people are like putting in some work, like legitimate work that in the long run is helping things. But that's all out, like, the antitrust law, that's just like judges and lawyers and whatnot, so it's kind of outside of politics technically. Some of it's influencing it, but they're kind of just doing that on their own, when all said and told. I mean, Google just got hit with antitrust for, was it like defaulting Chrome or something? I can't remember. I signed up for it. Supposedly, it's like, it can get me up to $5,000, but I don't know. I'll see like $10 from it at most. Then there's that incognito mode thing, and I still remember the free PlayStation 3 games I got from Sony for them, like, removing Linux. Still the dumbest thing they've ever done. And they never apologized for it either. Like, Sony was basically selling, if you don't know, people are too old, the PlayStation 3, all PlayStation 3s had on the box that said you can install Linux and use it as a computer. And you could. I actually had an uncle that used his PlayStation 3 as his work computer. That's what he used to, like, check emails. He didn't have the money at the time to get a decent computer. It was very expensive. It'd be like getting a decent computer at that point in time would have been like $2,000 or $3,000 for like a low end one. and the PS3 was like 600. So it was like a fantastic deal to have something that powerful. Yeah, it wasn't running Windows, but like Linux is okay if you use it. And basically Sony was selling all these PS3s, and on the box it said you can use Linux. And then for whatever reason they had to stick up their butt and said, yeah, no one can use Linux anymore. And they patched out the ability to install Linux. It was a special version of Linux made specifically for the PS3. And like just in one update, in one random update, they removed the like install Linux icon basically that made it impossible. And they also just, I believe if people had Linux on their console already, it removed it. That was another thing. If you already had Linux on it, it literally just like deleted it. So if you had like stuff on there, like very important work documents, things of that nature, it was gone. You couldn't even boot it. So I think people had to like take their hard drives out of the PS3s and recover the files manually on another system. 'Cause I don't think it formatted it, but like the files were still there, but like you couldn't launch the OS to move files off of it. So yeah, that screwed over a lot of people as well. And plus Sony was still selling boxes and still advertising that their PS3s could run Linux when they removed the feature completely. So they definitely got hit with an anti-consumer thing with that. And then when they got like their online system sucked so bad, they got like hacked and also DDoSed. It was like a perpetual DDoS. That lasted for 28 days. So for an entire month, people couldn't play online or do anything with their PlayStation 3 internet-wise. And because of that, Sony gave out a lot of we're sorry gifts to people, and I got like several free games, and I think they gave people like a month or two of like PSN. I think it was Plus, I don't know. Like, you know, you just got a bunch of stuff. They apologized profusely and they reworked their system. If memory serves, both the Switch and the PlayStation 5 are using Microsoft Azure now. Because Microsoft has been the leader. Because Sony was trying to use their own thing. I think they still use a lot of their own service on top of Azure. And they suck at it. Still. Same thing with Nintendo. They also suck at it. No one can compete with Microsoft in online. Nobody. Like the Switch, like this game I'm running right now, Splatoon 3, is using like basically Xbox Live code as the base. Like their Azure online platform or whatever. When Nintendo switched to using the ID that they forced a lot of people to do, that's when they did that. Going from Wii U to Switch. Because the Wii U was using Nintendo's own thing, and it was not great. So yeah, the Switch uses Microsoft Azure, and I think Sony does as well, though they don't admit it. Like, they're still doing a lot of their own proprietary stuff on top of it. I mean, it's just a framework, which is why it's still janky as all hell. But yeah. That's that. Also, online used to be free for all the consoles. Microsoft got a lot of shit for that too, by the way. Xbox Live costing money every month? Oh my god, they got endless amount of shit for that. And you needed to have broadband? You could play PS2 with dial-up. You didn't know that. But here's the thing with that though. Every game had to run their own online and have their own login service. So like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, I believe on PS3 had online, but you had to like create an account through them, and yeah. So every single game on PS2 that was online every company had to manage their entire online network. I mean, it was free, but that's what they had to do. And Microsoft's centralized it, and game companies just had to use their code, and Microsoft handled it all, handled all the online and matchmaking, but that's costly. And to have that many people use a singular service, you couldn't do it without people paying. So, like, that's why they charge money. And they did broadband only because dial-up is shit, and having to like or like even DSL, it was just not fast enough. Early DSL, I guess broadband is DSL, but like a lot of people were still on dial-up for like T1. XRP prices down, yeah, that makes sense. Microsoft forced broadband. All people were pissed. I wasn't a fan of it either, because I mean, like, if I wanted to play online with my new Xbox, we had to get like DSL, which was more costly. But you can get into a match and it wasn't laggy. You can talk to people. I guess you can do that on SOCOM PS2. But yeah, Microsoft started that. They got so much shit for it. Now guess what? Every company now charges for online. Go figure. Because you have to. Sony tried not to, but like the way stuff is going, it's like you can't afford it. Then Microsoft did Game Pass. Basically, when it comes to online, Microsoft knows what the hell they're doing. I don't think that's in question, though. Yeah, phone line on here. Xbox 3 hours ago. We're reintroducing friend requests. You'll be able to send, accept, delete friend requests in addition to following or being followed by others. What the hell do you mean by that? Your existing mutual friends will update automatically with this change once you'll stay friends with people who's also added you as a friend previously and continue following anyone who hadn't. What? The hell does that mean? That's confusing. Just when I was like when I was doting on Microsoft about friend requests on, you can turn it off and on and off in preferences. Well, that's good for like streamers. You can just literally turn off friend requests in the menu. Hello. I forgot I even had those notifications. Yeah, I think I know what that article meant. Cause like, didn't they change like friend requests to like followers? And it didn't make any goddamn sense because you followed people. It wasn't exactly friend request. It didn't make it didn't make a goddamn lick of sense. So I think they're like, when they said we're reintroducing friend requests, I think that's what they're doing now. So like, they're bringing the friend system back. Because like, when you followed someone, it's like you were like half friended. And you could, and that person can follow you back, and that would basically make a full friend request happen. But like, it was weird. Because the other, if you unfriended someone, they can still be following you. It was weird system. So they're bringing back the old way of doing it, where you friend someone, and that's it. That's the whole thing. So good, I guess. I that stood in a weird. I don't know why they did this position for way too long. Although I guess I can't say Microsoft knows online when the Xbox One happened. God, that was a shit show. Absolute shit show. And coming off the 360 too, man. That dude got fired, I'm pretty sure, right? Like the dude that like did all this stuff with the Xbox One being online only, and like you couldn't sell, like the game disc would be tied to that console. I mean, it's an old story at this point, but the idea, and if you didn't know, the original Xbox One games that came out at launch had that on the disc. They had like the codes on the disc. It was like, it was set and raring to go. Like that concept was built into the console. Like they really meant to do it. Where if you put a disc in the system, it would like basically every single game disc. What Microsoft wanted to do, like if you went and bought a copy of Diablo 4, put it into the console. That copy, that very specific copy of Diablo 4 that you had on the disc would have its own CD key etched into the disc, like literally in the data. Like every copy that they minted would have its own CD key built in. God forbid, like that doesn't mess up somehow. Or if they printed like the wrong one or it didn't register. Like if the company that mastered the disc didn't do it right. Like you would put in a copy and it would install from the disc, but it would also register that CD key on that disc to that account. So what that meant is, you couldn't play the game without the disc in the system, of course, but it also meant that if you sold it to or traded that disc to anyone, and they put that game into their console, you wouldn't be able to play it. I'd be like, oh, it has to do an online check, and then like, oh, the key that's built into this disc is signed to another person's account. So what you would have had to have done is take that disc, the physical disc, go to a kiosk and put the disc in the kiosk, and then input your information in the kiosk and unregister that disc from your account. Basically like refund that game off of your account. Although I think Microsoft also said you could play without the disc, as long as you're connected online. So basically the discs was just a computer CD key giver. It was basically like Steam, and it's like it inputted the code automatically, and you basically just got a digital version of the game that came with an installed disc. Is all that was. And that's what Microsoft tried to do, and well, I think everyone knows that didn't go over very well. It damn near sunk the company, not very well. And a lot of those people got fired. That even thought that idea up. And they also made the Xbox Connect mandatory. I believe shortly after launch, though, they had a patch to where you could like unplug it. I'm not joking. But if you remove the Xbox Connect from an original Xbox One, like the system would like not let you play it. It would show up like be like, please, it would stop everything. If you was playing a game, it would close the game. It was basically like, you can think of it like, you remove the cartridge from the system, please put in the cartridge and restart the console kind of thing. For the Kinect, it was like that. Like, you know, it's like you're not supposed to play without like the Kinect being in it. People were also not happy about that, and the always online thing. And if you bought a game digitally, like you could only play it for like 24 hours. Unless you reconnect it again, it's like, man. And then here's Nintendo with physical carts that you can plug in, and you don't even have to think about online. God bless Nintendo. Sometimes their legal team is still needs tossed into the sun, but fun gaming wise, they got it nailed. Nintendo is like the most anti-consumer, pro-gamer company on the planet. It's crazy. And supposedly, here before too long, Nintendo's changing the rules about streaming games, and I don't know. They're like, They're like the most pro gamer company with coming out with all these great, fantastic games that are fun to play and, you know, not filled with microtransactions. Like, they're pro-consumer games, but their legal team is as anti-consumer as one can physically be. Like, if it was legal, they would probably send hitmen after people for like uploaded content they shouldn't or something. Like, it's very bad. Like, they've ruined people's lives just because, like, people like love their product and was creating fan content. Although this will probably be my last game. Win or lose. I am liking this Splatoon though. Like, I'll be using this a lot more. The Grand Splatfest is this Thursday, I think. Make sure you get your icons and stuff too. All of those icons. And the icons you buy with like the silver coins. Make sure you get those. There's so many good ones. I think my Splatoon 3 icon folder is now like 103 or 104 or something. Of all the ones I bought. I just bought them all. Oh, god damn it. Quit playing on McDonald's Wi-Fi. By the way, in case anyone's wondering, I do not play my Switch wireless. It is connected with a USB adapter with a Cat 6 cable connected directly to gigabit internet. Not a Cat 5 cable, Cat 6 cable. If you're wondering what that means, it's category 6. It just means that there's more twisted pairs. There's more twists in it. You want to, before I go, a little quick thing about Ethernet cables and how they work a little bit. I do have a networking degree. I'd learned this shit. The only difference between Cat 5 and Cat 6 is there's only 4 wires. There's 8 wires that go from end to end, but only 4 are used for data. The other 4, their entire purpose in life is they wrap around the other 4. So there'll be one wire, and then there's another wire that's wrapped around that one. And they do that across the whole wire. And the only reason why they do that is because we're dealing with metal, right? We're dealing with metal with electricity flowing through it. Just think of that for a moment, right? What happens if you have 2 things of metal with electricity flowing through it that are really close together? Interference. So what they do is they have basically 4 live wires and 4 dead wires, and the 4 dead wires are wrapped around the live ones to absorb any interference. Because if you have like a little bit of data that leaks through and you turn a 0 to a 1, or if it reads a 0 as a 1 or 1 as a 0, that messes with data. And a category 6 cable just means that there's more copper because they do more twists around the wire. between each one. And if you do that, you use more copper. And if you use more copper, it makes it more expensive, because you're literally using more metal. But it means you have less crosstalk. That's how that works, and that's why there's like category 7, I think, and it just uses more. And then you have like planar, planar, like the Ethernet cables that are designed to be hung above fluorescent lights and stuff, which you should never really hang anything above fluorescent light, because that also introduces crosstalk. But anyway, I'm just rambling. But yeah, I got a good cable basically. That's designed for industrial use that I'm using to play this online. So I think my internet's pretty decent for Switch. So every time I see that communication error, I get annoyed, because I know someone does not have good equipment. Personally, I think the Switch 2, if it comes out, should have an Ethernet ports built in. Fine sauce to full sauce. Astrobot Part 3, Part 2? What? I guess they just uploaded a bunch of parts at once. Oh god, I didn't even get into Concord. Oh no. That's a whole conversation by itself. I can talk about Concord real quick before I go. Concord's an easy one. Sony's in California. Like Sony's main Sony years ago re-established from Japan to California, and then they completely changed their policies to match California policies, which is why every game started going real woke. That's not hyperbole. That is, I don't know how it crept in there so hard so fast. Maybe it's just all the businessmen and investors in that area of Sony was just giving them really bad intel and being like, the games have to have this. Or maybe they had to do it in order to get like tax breaks. I'm not really sure, but yeah, as soon as Sony went to California is why you get games like Concord. It's like everything's gotta be safe, everything's gotta be DEI, everything's you can't make women too attractive, and very prudish basically. I never would have imagined like a place that's filled with so much drugs, sex, and alcohol to be so prudish. Very strange, because the first thing I saw in California when I was taking a bus ride down there is a prostitute like going up to a vehicle. And you will never see that here in Kansas. Ever. Never seen it once. So, because an officer would have been like right on that. it's like, you can't do that here. That shit, like, this is very Republican place, so it's like it will be on that shit real quick. So I don't know why the companies are so prudish, but like the environment is so vulgar, like so drug filled and so it's such a weird dichotomy. And then you have the opposite, like here in Republican states, where it's like you get a little bit of that on the reverse, maybe, and not to the extreme. It's like more in the middle, less reversed. Both sides. Like, I mean, there are drugs and stuff like that too. It's like a lot of meth here in Kansas, but like stuff's like mellowed on both sides. It's like not as like you don't see people like camping in the street. It's, if anyone did any of the stuff that they do in like a California street here in Kansas, they would get thrown in jail immediately and stay there. It's like, for at least a year. I had a coworker that went to jail just for violating probation for a year. So it's like they're very strict around here. Yeah. That's not a thing you can do here. I mean, hell, they even outlaw weed here. Although most people do it from what I understand, but like, you get caught with weed in Kansas, it's like $1,000 fine and potentially a year in jail. It's a no joke here. It is 100% completely illegal to the maximum extent that the law can physically allow. Which is weird because so many fucking people do it. But anyway, so yeah, I talk about Concord. Yeah, Sony got in bed with California and then thought that their ideas were money makers, basically. Like, oh, California makes a lot of money. It's like, so their ideas of how the world should be, of all the DEI bullshit is how you do that. And like, nope. They are losing millions, if not billions of dollars. Oh, they're losing so much money. If Sony keeps up with this DEI bullshit, and I am pro LGBT all the way, right? I mean, I portray myself as non-binary when I'm or gender fluid when I play VR chat, because like that just, it fits for how I am in VR chat. So I get it, but goddamn, let women be sexy. And just I don't know. If Sony doesn't leave California, Sony will not exist by 2027. And the PS6, whenever that comes out, will be their last console. Full stop. If they don't leave California at some point between then and now, they're done. Like, they're just done. They're a dead company. If they continue on this path, they're a dead company. And that's it. Like, full stop. Like, they are a dead company if they stay there. The best thing that they can probably do is move to Texas, which is what everyone else is doing, apparently. I think Elon moved to Texas. Like, if they move to Texas, then there's a shot that they will get back on track. But if they stay in California, they're done. The Sony as a brand, because Sony doesn't have a lot of money. I don't think people understand this. Sony doesn't have a lot of money. They are the entirety of Sony Entertainment, Sony Entertainment America, Japan, all that. Nintendo themselves could buy Sony and everything they stand for if they allowed it. Like, the Pokemon company could probably buy Sony. Like, Sony doesn't have a lot of money. Only like maybe 5 to 7 billion at most. That sounds like a lot, but then you think Nintendo's like 20 or 30, right? It's like I believe the Pokemon company has more money. I would believe has more money like locked up in their company than the entire net worth of Sony. Just the Pokemon company. So it's like Sony is not exactly doing well financially. Doesn't matter how many PS4s or 5s they sell. They're not doing great. It's, in fact, in terms of divisions, because Microsoft's a big company, but if you just do the Xbox division, I believe even Microsoft is less than Nintendo. So it's like, in terms of who has the most money, it'd be like Nintendo, and then a close second, Microsoft, and then a very distant third, Sony. And that's all of Sony, including their movie division and all that. Their music and their movies. So yeah, and they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars. They lost over 100 million just with Concord. And 100, like, you can only do 100 million 10 times to lose a billion, right? Math. And so if you are spending 100 million on each game, that's like 10 games. And you can only do that like 7 times before you're bankrupt. Like you 70 times, right? Before you are entirely bankrupt as a worldwide company. So yeah. And if you imagine 5 to 10 games per year, that's in a couple years with all their other costs and expenses. They'd be hurting by 2027. It's just bleeding money, and then some company would probably buy them. So, and Microsoft and Nintendo couldn't do it because that'd be antitrust. So it'd have to be a non-video game company that'd buy them. And who knows what they would do with it. So, yeah. That's my prediction. By 2027, if Sony doesn't leave California, they're done. The PS6 will be their last console, and they will fade away into just being a publisher like Sega. And then you'll start seeing like God of War on the Xbox. And all of Sony's old catalog will just be repackaged, and they'll just be a publisher. That, if they even survive being a publisher, because the games that they're publishing aren't making any money because of all DEI woke build shit. So, probably just be liquidated, honestly. So that's my thoughts on that. While playing Splatoon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time. I'm hungry. I'm gonna fix me something to eat.